So, this more or less might be a little bit of a speech. Maybe I'm also gonna sing in between. Could be the case. I don't know. Who knows? I do quickly wanna talk. Well, not necessarily quickly, but I want to talk about friendship and having people around you. And maybe I'm also gonna talk about confidence and liking yourself and liking who you are and all of these amazing things. So it's just raining, not that much actually, but it is raining indeed. And I don't know, like in the past few, I want to say days, days. I don't think that it is, I don't know, 2 weeks or something. So me saying weeks might be maybe not that true, full. Which, by the way, is something that I always think about. I don't want to talk about any shit. I don't want to lie. And I, in general, don't lie because I don't like it. No, I can't do it. And, sometimes, especially when it is like, okay, not telling your mother everything, sometimes I'm just still going to do it. And of course, I have, and I'm still fucking myself in the ass sometimes. And I've done that quite often, unfortunately, but also fortunately, just because lying is not cool. And other people are not going to believe in you if you always lie. And you probably also don't believe in yourself if you're always lying to yourself, which, no, don't do that. There is no benefit in doing so. And therefore, yeah, I want to talk about friendship at first, I guess. The thing is, having people around you is amazingly important. I would somehow say that, and please don't get me wrong, I'm not some sort of a feminist / men are the best and whatnot and some of that shit. I would actually really like to go through more books written by women and more things written by women or done by women and so on and so on and so on and so on. There's a lot of things that, and I just often thought about it, and I've often also said it in a video that I would actually really like to have it in, like, I would just like to have more books by women, especially some older books. But unfortunately, back in the days, either they just haven't been published, and or they just weren't able to get that popular, and or they just, I don't know, because I just don't think that there weren't female writers back in the days. For example, I think about Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. There's no quote unquote equivalent written by a woman, I guess. Maybe I haven't just seen it. Maybe it's just not that quote unquote popular. But yeah, I do believe, and it is a really new thought of mine, but I kind of have a feeling, and maybe you can also give me your opinion, but I feel like that women are more likely to be surrounded by people than men are. Of course, it always depends, but I kind of feel like that men really, not really, but can handle it a bit better. Maybe handling is also the wrong word there. To just be alone. I always like to kind of think about things in a tribish way, in terms of, okay, let's think back to just very, very early times and see what we have done there and the difference between the males or the sexes, not males, but sexes. And there are differences, there are differences in behavior, there's differences in probably thought patterns and preferences in terms of whatever. And it is a very interesting topic, but it is as well a topic that is, can't easily be discussed, because on both sides, there's going to be people that are very, very, very easily and fucked up and pissed. And I don't want to do that. I, in general, don't. Well, I think I have been talking about politics before, or politics, but it is also one of these things, as well as religion. Just, these topics, you don't necessarily have to talk about them, especially when you are just having a podcast, and no matter the fuck you're doing, you don't necessarily have to do that, because the chance that you are fucking yourself is very, very, very high. But yeah, being surrounded by people is amazingly important, I think, especially when it is cool people, and yeah, I have been very fortunate that I have always been surrounded by amazing people that I've primarily actually met in school. I have had back in the days a lot of friends that I've met through or because of me playing soccer. Of course, you are in a team and you're also just, talking to those people and you make friends and whatnot. But primarily, I've met people through school and yeah, actually through school. And I do think it makes sense on one hand. On the other hand, it is like, maybe I could have done a better job. And that definitely is people that have more friends than I'm having. Definitely, 100%. Which I have also thought about very, 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 very recently. I thought, well, do I actually need more people? And I do want to point out need. It is not about wanting. It is not about. It's not about whatever, but it is indeed about needing. Do I need somebody else? Do I need other people? Or more people? And I do want to say that it is cool. It is cool to know more people. I'm not gonna lie. It's not an uncool thing. It's not like I just don't want to have that. Of course, I'm actually very happy and what the fuck. Very happy and I would just like to meet new people and know more people and so on and so on and so on. But yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like that maybe this is also tied to my thought about being surrounded by more people and having to be surrounded by more people. But the thing is, what I want to say is make more friends. Always try that. I think that having connections is one of the most important things you can have. Some people are very fortunate that their family members have good connections already. But I don't know, like it's always amazing to have somebody on your mind or just quote unquote in your pocket if you need something. I have this friend in that area, I have that friend in that area and whatnot. So having connections is always going to be amazing. And I don't know. The thing is, how can you make more friends? I do think by being a likable person. How can you be a likable person? By not being an asshole, I would say. Which comes back to karma and comes back to being a nice person, which is ultimately going to lead you to just be also liked by people, I guess. Just as easy as it could be. I think I would say I don't want to be like, whoa, this is definitely the case and whatnot, because I am not the wisest person there is. I'm very young. I'm just 19 years old. I'm turning 20 next year, which is insane, by the way, as well. But yeah, I mean, yeah, know more people, get to know more people, which does not necessarily mean always being surrounded by people, which is something that I also don't want to have personally. I just don't really like that personally. I need some time for myself and some time to rest for myself, especially as well, which I've seen in very recent times because I need to work or I'm working. Most often, actually, I'm doing more work than I should be doing. So I'm having some over hours, I guess, or doing over hours. I don't know what it is called, but I'm doing more than I actually should be doing which is fine. So I'm fine with it. It is just what it is. It is just what the job is. And but yeah, I don't know. Like I don't actually know what I'm talking about. I actually don't know what I'm talking about. 9 minutes probably of bullshit, I guess. Well, I actually don't know. I actually don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And I feel like that I am just talking about things so that I have an episode. So that I have something, that I have something that I've talked about. Maybe let's switch things. I'm not gonna cut it out because maybe somebody can benefit from that, even though it's not necessarily something that I really like to push out. I kind of always think about doing something that might not always think about that, but I often think about the fact that I want to put out something that people can contribute off of. Quite often I also think just, okay, I need an episode, I need to do something. I need to record something, and then I'm just recording something, either something that I prefer or easily done. But But something that I personally have done very recently is comparing myself to other people. Actually, one person very, 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 very often. And we shouldn't be doing this. We really shouldn't. And as one buddy of mine said, that I've then asked what he thinks about all of that. And he said, well, it's just one moment in time. You're comparing yourself to this person in one moment of time. Meaning, like, okay, this certain state you're in, you're comparing yourself to this other person. And as I'm talking about it, which is quite often the case, I kind of realize that it is an amazing thought. Comparing yourself at this point in time with somebody else. Of course, you might be having more, you might be having less than this other person. But what about in 5 years? What about in 10 years? It's always just a moment. And I can't really explain what I have in my mind, but I have something very, very weird in my mind. It kind of feels like it is very fragile. I don't know why, but it feels very, 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 very fragile. This moment. This moment might be good, this moment might be amazing, this moment might be something, but ultimately the long term counts, and the whole picture counts quite. It's not what I want to communicate, but I can't say what I think about. There's actually very little words, and when there is actually words, I don't know them. I think fragile actually really explains it quite well. It's fragile. This moment is very fragile. It could be over in a moment because it's just a moment. Yeah. So comparing yourself to somebody else is on one hand something good because it kind of shows you that you could be doing more, that you could be doing less, that you can be happy, that whatever. But yeah, it's also a fucked up thing, because they're them and you're you. You have different circumstances, you have different thoughts, you are a different person, which is for me just ultimately the case as well. I'm a completely different person with completely different values. Most often, I think about different things and I am not anyone else. I'm special because I'm an individual. Nobody is like me. And it's the same case for you as well, unless you're having a twin or something. Then there is somebody quite like you. But nobody really is like you. Nobody really is like you. Nobody. No fucking body. Which is amazing, if you think about it. And therefore also comparing yourself to somebody really ultimately does not make any sense. Thinking about your physique maybe. Okay, this person is just leaner than you are. Yeah, but your genetics are completely different than this person's genetics. Your values maybe, back in the days, have been way different than this person's values. Which doesn't mean that you shouldn't change them. Which doesn't mean that you shouldn't think about them. Which doesn't mean that you shouldn't kind of alter something. It just means that you haven't done what this person has done before. This person did something different. This person probably has been training for quite some time and or eating in a certain fashion, and you have not done that. Just because of certain reasons, there's always reasons. We are always having something. We are always having something on our minds. There's always something in our head. For some people, it is working out and eating healthy. And for some other people, it is girls and maybe partying. And I don't know, like it might not be the best explanation, to really be honest, but I just feel like no. Doesn't make much sense. Wow, it's ultra weird. It's super duper weird to look out of my window. Wow, it's So this is the first thing, comparing yourself to other people. And yeah, something that I also quite want to talk about is maybe I thought about something. I think it's been actually yesterday in the train. I thought, well, where is the line between not caring about yourself much, meaning too less, and trying to make it as good for other people as you possibly can. Because something that I'm often having in my mind is that I just want other people to be happy. I want them to feel good, and I want them um, just be smiling and be happy and be in a good mood always. I want to have that for people. And where's the line between just achieving that and trying to achieve that and not neglecting myself and not forgetting about myself? For example, texting with people, do I always have to reply? Do I always have to be super duper just nice in terms of thinking about them and just trying to not communicate things in a bad way? It is a strange thing to think about, but maybe somebody's having the same quote unquote problem. It's not a problem, it's just, some bullshit thing, actually. I don't know. Like, I think that I'm tending to, I don't want to say too selfless, because it is not selflessness. This is something different. But maybe I'm too serious. Maybe it's being too serious. Quite. I don't know. Like, too serious about, okay, if I write this, if I write that, that person might be unhappy. This person might just think about it in that and this way. And yes, communication is a fucked up thing, because it often is just not working. Unfortunately, it is the case. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Unfortunately, we can't do that much about that. Period. That's the thing. That's the case. That's what it is. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I've read something the other day, which was about, well, the other day, I think it's been a week since then, quite, which has been about, what did I want to say? It's been about being nice and being too nice and these things. Yes, it's been about these things. And I do want to say that I kind of believe that there is a too nice and being too nice, even though on one hand it is like, I'm always having something in my mind, like, if I do this, which I'm not quite sure about whether it is the right thing to do, and I will get faster to my end goal, I believe at least it is the case for the short term. And I'm always struggling with, okay, should I really do that? Sometimes I then do it, even though I know it is not the right thing to do. And I'm always trying to do the right thing that I can possibly do. But I do think that I've got myself in a place, and maybe this is something that other people have also done, where I might be seeing something in a negative light that is just neutrally seen by other people. Which might be also the case why I often think that somebody might not be nice or is not nice and is not caring about anything and whatnot, based on my criterias and based on my, well, options or whatever you want to say. But asking them, they are going to say, okay, this is just something neutral for me. It's not being nice. It's not being a bad person. It's not whatever. It is just neutral. You know what I mean? I guess it is a strange thing. Like I don't know. We always have our own criteria. We are always having our own filters, and we are always basing things on our filters and not on somebody else's. So I don't know. Of course, just doing things and saying things in a way that you are happy with yourself is important, and you should be doing it. But I don't know. I don't know. I also in the end just really don't know what I'm talking about. This might actually be the worst episode of the podcast I've ever recorded in my whole entire life. Just nonsensical talking but you know what? I'm anyway gonna upload it, and I'm gonna title it the worst episode of the SWS Self-Development with Taxis podcast. Gonna call it like that. And yeah, I at least hope that you're just happy and fine and healthy. And I wish you the best health, of happiness, and all success. And also hope that you're gonna remind yourself and you're gonna be remembered, which basically means your legacy, and basically means just being a nice person, then ultimately being remembered as a nice person, which is a pretty cool thing as well. And then yeah, that makes sense. I'm hopefully gonna see you the next time. So yeah, I wish you the best health, of happiness, and all success. And also, well, in the end, also hope that you are able to say something to somebody that is indeed gonna change their life. Because I think that we all can do that, and I think you as well can do that. And yeah, I think a little bit. Maybe I should do less. I'm actually looking forward to resting a bit today, but I also thought about just doing something with friends and whatnot. But yeah. Anyway, take care of yourself and have a good time. Bye bye.